I know a couple of boot makers. I know Lisa Sorrell, which is a amazing artist. And she's wow, she's way out there ahead of me. So, but she does a lot of inlay and stuff like that. And her base price is $10,000, and I say good for her. Yeah, I think it's awesome. And then another gal that I really like her work is Valerie Coe. And she actually quit building boots and is doing fine art now, which I think evidently it goes hand in hand. So, and she's from Oregon, but she does an amazing job. But there's really not, and I know a lot of boot makers. There's really not too many women boot makers out there. And there's not many women boot makers that make boots for the people that I make them for. That are the real guys that are still working and you know, doing all the things. Which, so like Callie, I said, I have a big soft spot.
So Callie?
Yes.
I raise my glass to you.
Yes. Thank you. I'll raise mine back to you.
Callie,
Cheers.
have you participated in Arts of the Cowgirl?
Yes, sir. I've been their master bootmaker twice at Art of the Cowgirl, and I'm going again this year with my fellowship recipient, with my student from last year. So we will be there in January. It's in Queen Creek this year, if anybody would like to go. Yes?
Do you have an apprentice or somebody you're passing this on to?
Are you looking for a job?
Sure.
It might be. You could work them off, huh? How much do you eat? No, I don't. And I've had some apprentices, and we used to do this really cool thing when I was in, this is where my 2-inch mark comes into play here. See where that folds? I know some of you guys in the back, sorry you can't see very well, but I can't see very well either, so it's alright. Turning into blind as a bat. But when I was in Nevada, I did this really cool thing with the high school kids. You know, like your senior year, how, I don't know, I used to call it work release. Where you like would go to school half a day and then the other half of the day you went to work. Did anyone else do that? Yeah, work release, right? It's like an inmate when you're inside all day. So in Battle Mountain they had a cool program, and I would have an intern come out from the high school, and in a semester they would build a boot. And we did it in Idaho when I was in Idaho for a while too, and I'm kind of proud of Anna. So Anna Sabir turned into a very wonderful woman saddle maker, and she actually started out in our shop. So it's pretty neat to watch someone that you help learn to go on and grow in their industry, and you know, it's very satisfying. But I would like to do something like that here because I really do enjoy working with the kids. Sometimes. No, they're usually pretty good. So, but I don't know. I like the teaching, and so I will be there with my students. And I actually took 2 this year. I took Mesa. And I took Abby. Mesa had a little learning disability. Nobody wanted to help her, and I said, well, heck, I got a learning disability too. Come on over. So, anyway, it was very challenging with Mesa because we had to, I think this is where teachers get confused about teaching. I think we all need to teach the way that they learn instead of make them learn the way that we teach. So I think that we all need to adjust for that and, you know, okay, that's not working for you, so let's do something different. Now I'm bending over all those beads that I cut out. Pretty cool taking shape, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for, you know what's funny? My Aunt Sue is a very amazing seamstress. I think. Maybe I'm biased. I cannot even sew a set of curtains. That is no lie, you guys. Ask Aunt Sue. She had to come over and help me make curtains for my new house. Why? I don't know. I could make leather curtains, but I'm telling you, to sew a piece of fabric, I might as well sell my soul to the devil because it's not happening.
Tell us about your jeans. Do you make jeans?
Yeah, but I got a guy that sews them. Yes, again, back to getting on and off my horse. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I'm kind of have a big bottom half. Let's put it that way. And getting on and off my horse and working around and like riding and roping was not comfortable in jeans. So I decided that one day, if I ever met somebody that would make jeans, I was going to design a pair that were comfortable and then I didn't blow the crotch out of every time I went in the arena and roped something, which was embarrassing. So, I am very proud that these are made in America too. Yes. By real people. We don't even have computers, so our jeans are handmade too, which is very exciting.
What kind of riding do you do, Kelly?
You know the pony guy that's out in front of the grocery store? We ride him a lot. Sorry. No, I like to rope and we do a lot of ranch work and I really like when I get invited to go branding with the guys and help gather outside. I really like to ride in the outside country. That's really my kind of thing. Never hit your pliers with your hammer. That's a very important pull. Now we're going to change nails here.
What made you move from Nevada to Arizona?
Snow. Aunt Sue, and then the snow. Aunt Sue first, then the snow. Yeah. Well, as you notice, I have a little arthritis. So in the wintertime up there was very brutal, and I couldn't hardly work anymore. In northern Nevada, in Battle Mountain, it's about halfway between Elko and Winnemucca. Or for those that don't know, halfway between Reno and Salt Lake.
So you live in the mountains?
Yes. And as my husband would say, it was 6 months of winter or 9 months of winter and 3 months of tough sledding. That's what he would say. So, no, the weather, and like I said, I grew up down here, so I was really ready to, I love the desert, and I think once that you live in the desert, I really do think that it gets in your blood. You know, I think there's a part of you that just, the desert gets a hold of it, and just, I don't know. I love the desert. I love everything about it. Except for the snakes. Not a big snake. I don't like the rattlesnakes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that. When I was a kid, and my dad used to kill rattlesnakes, and then we'd have to tan them, skin them and tan them, and then we would make stuff, hat bands and wallets and stuff like that for in the shop. Well, let me tell you what. Sometimes they're not always dead. So, he was dead. But, so, I don't know, how many have skinned a snake in here? Okay, so did you split the belly and then peel it down and just peel the hide off and go? Yeah. Well, and then we'd nail them to a board and we used glycerin and alcohol to tan our hides with the flesh, or the flesh side up, right? Is that how you do it?
Yep.
Yeah. So we did that, and one day I was holding the snake. He didn't have a head, and Dad split him, and he's peeling the hide, and I'm holding the snake out there, which I hated, by the way. And that thing curled around my arm with no head and no skin and no whatever, and I threw him and I told Dad, you are on your own. I don't care if we starve to death because you don't sell another snakeskin hat. We are not. No more helping you. No. See, we're getting there. Yeah. So, that's a question that no one can answer.
What was the question?
That's a trick question. She said that, asked me how long do cowboy boots last a working cowboy. Some of them, depending on how well they take care of their equipment, what material they buy them out of. I have a guy that I built a pair for in 1998, and he's still wearing them. Yeah, I told him I'm not fixing them anymore. He's done. So once they're wore out, they're wore out. But like, I have some in my, it's not unheard of. My husband's still wearing a pair from 20 years ago. I have guys that have been wearing them 20 years. But I don't guarantee that. Never guarantee anybody anything. We have a 30-30 guarantee. 30 feet or 30 seconds, whichever comes first. Okay.
The all ones that I have, you know, they built the last and everything. They were wonderful at first, but then they shrink
What do you mean they shrink?
right at the instant. So they have to be stretched. You know, if I don't wear them for a while. So they have to be stretched because I can't.
Okay. So, what you want to do for that, because rubbing alcohol opens the grain in leather. And so, you know, you buy shoe stretch, it's like $7 a can or something. All it does is rubbing alcohol. So I take a spray bottle like that one and do 50-50 rubbing alcohol. And if you pull that boot on and it's a little bit snug right there, just spray it with the alcohol and water. Because alcohol also draws the moisture, but it opens the grain in leather, and so the alcohol will let the leather stretch. So instead of taking them, just spray them and wear them for a little bit. And the other thing that you can do is squat and just stretch that way after you put the alcohol on, and it should open that back up.
Okay.
Can you use deep
Yeah.
And Kelly, what do you use to make the heels of the boot?
The
Heel.
leather.
All
It's
leather?
stacked leather. It's actually the same leather that you use for the insole. The insole is a little bit softer leather than I use for the outsole. I like to use a German or an Italian soling back to that, because it wears forever. And I don't know if it's the chemicals they use or their tanning process or what that makes it wear so good, but it wears twice as long as anything that I can find in America. So,
Kelly,
yes.
you made those like darts on the back so that it would fit down. You have to do that on the toes?
No, ma'am, I'm going to show you a very cool thing with
Ask
this.
the question again.
She asked if there
Oh,
the
sorry.
darts that you made on the side
On the back.
she'd also need to have to do it on the toe.
No, I don't have to do that on the toe. But I got sidetracked talking and forgot to put a couple nails in. This poor guy's boots gonna fall apart. No, it's not you. It was nail blocks on here a couple of months ago. I don't think it's ever going to be normal again, but at least I can't feel my heartbeat in it anymore like I could when I whacked it. Oh,
And so Kelly, if we went to Benson, we could find you shop. Do you keep regular hours, or do you need appointments to come there?
okay, first of all, let's define regular hours. Is that like 9 to 5 or?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I have a sign in my shop that says our business hours are, most of the time we're here except for when we're not, and we should be here then too, and sometimes we're open as early as like 5 a.m. but we close at 9, and sometimes we're open until 11 or 12 at night, but you know, and we're always here except for when we're not. I would call. I would call and come over.
Good advice.
That's why I can't have a real job, because I don't show up to work on time. Sheesh. You guys are a tough crowd. You want me to have regular hours? Oh my God. and it sure beats the heck out of having to have a real job, or what I call a real job.
Do you have a large backlog?
I am right about at a year right now. I don't like to get maybe a year-ish.
So if
See,
somebody
now
came
you guys
into-
want to know times and everything.
So if somebody came into you today, it'd be a year to get the
Yes.
finished product? And
Yes.
how much do you charge? What's your price range?
43 cents, 42 and a half. Oh, Bob gave me a raise. I get 43 cents. No, 1800 is my base price, and you get 4 rows of stitching, no exotic, because God only knows what that's going to cost right now. I can't even keep up with part of it. Trying to get supplies sometimes right now, and it is rough.
Well, this crowd a year from now, they're not gonna remember.
Maybe a year from, yeah. Oh, come on, they surely will. They should remember. In a year from now, we're gonna have a cure for CRS. Yeah, just give me a call, and if somebody wants to come over and get their feet measured, it's best if it's a little bit quiet and we can actually sit down and have a conversation. See, I cut all that out and cleaned that all up on the bottom, which I'll do some more when I get home. We're doing kind of a.
There are some, Kelly's got some business cards here, if you wanna pick one up with your phone number and how you can contact her.
When you start a pair of boots, do you finish that one pair, or are you working on multiple pairs at one time?
No, he asked me when
Assuming you're not doing a pair for a show or something.
Right. He asked if when I start a pair, if that's the, if I work on one or multiple. I have multiple pair going because, like this is wet, so now this has to dry before I can do the next step on this boot. I am going to finish this toe and build some fence because somebody asked if I had the V's in the front. This will eliminate that. What this step does right here.
If you're working in a dry climate like Arizona, does it ever dry out too much and you have to let it sit it out?
Question is,
Yes.
does the leather dry out too much here in Arizona?
Well, and usually I work a touch faster than I'm working now when I'm at home by myself. And I'm not gonna lie, this is for real the very first time on the phone book in the and the phone. This is a different experience. It's kind of a weird feeling because I work, if you guys have noticed, I work a lot. I hold things with my knees because sometimes it's just hard. So see what I did when I put that string around was I made it hold tight where all that nail was, so all those pulls that I made tight don't come back off. So that's gonna hold that on there.
Will that string stay on there? Or you take it
Yes.
off?
Yes. Well, I take it off eventually. But the cool thing about this string is I'm gonna come in and build my fence, and then I'll show you.
What kind of string is it?
This is very hard to find parachute cord. You know, at the very hard to find parachute store. You have to go to the parachute store. No, I like it because when I go to welt my boots, like I was talking, the part that the sole sews to, the welt that actually sews in the groove, it makes a very cool divot, so to speak, and that welt just lays in there perfectly after everything dries. And like after I put the toe box in, cause see this still has to come apart after it dries. In between the vamp and the liner is we put the toe box in, which is what makes the toes hard that you all felt when they go around. So, especially after you put that in and you can pull it right up into this groove because I'm going to put it on the angle. Do you remember when we talked about the angle of things and the reason there's a reason that all the angles are on there? I didn't like that nail. I'm getting a new one. So it actually works. It serves two purposes. It holds the vamp tight, and it makes the line for my welt that I really like because it makes just a round enough. Because that welt's rounded. I really wish I'd have brought a piece. I tried to think of everything, you guys, but it's really hard. Well, I'll have to have you all over, and we'll just sit out in the yard at my house, and yeah, and it'll be easier.
Over our time here tonight, but maybe
Okay.
if those of you want to stick around, if Kelly will finish her work and you can come up and talk to her. But I want to thank Kelly for being here. It's been a wonderful night.